It's good to be back. I apologize for the massive hiatus I've been on for the last month. School got a bit crazy, I started a new job, and I had a lot of family stuff going on. For now though, things are calming down and I actually have free time again, which is good. As you can tell by watching this, I'm back with new videos as well. Trust me guys, this time I totally won't go another month without uploading. And what better way to return than by taking on a new Mineplex game that strongly resembles some similarities to a favorite game of mine that I have previously discussed. What are we waiting for? Let's get into it. Yep, we're doing this again. I've been dormant on commenting on Mineplex for a while because I felt that the server has been in a downward spiral for several months now. Despite all the yelling criticism from the community, things haven't really changed. The server is still losing players, things aren't looking too good, desperate sales are rampant, etc. However, I don't want to completely ignore what they're putting out because they are a functioning server. Somehow, and do manage to turn out an interesting concept here and there. One of those so happens to be their latest game mode, Castle Siege. I mean Mineplex Competitive League. I meant Castle Assault. Sorry, this game just reminds me way too much of those other games, and we'll get to that a little later on. I'm honestly fascinated by how this one turned out, and it really piqued my interest when I played it. Judging by the response on the forums, aside from the try-hard copy-paste robots, the general consensus is that it's pretty good, with a few legitimate criticisms still lodged at it. Before I talk about the game itself, I'd like to point out that this is actually an anomaly for Mineplex, as it was not designed by the usual design team. Sumito D, Alex the Coder, Giovanni, and King Crazy actually put this together, which does give this game more credence to being different for Mineplex. Sam also pointed out on the release thread that he's had the idea for this game for over a year actually. I like the idea of getting content from different creators, as that already changes things up from the norm. Additionally, I'm going to be ignoring any issues related to hackers in this video because, let's be honest, that's a problem that Mineplex will never solve, and they don't really seem to care. And I'd just be repeating myself for no reason. So without further ado, let's begin. Castle Assault is a game that focuses on a more vanilla PvP style than most Mineplex game modes. While there are still some Mineplex staples such as different kits and upgrades, the feel of the actual PvP is a lot different. Here's the premise. Players are spawned onto one of two teams in a fairly basic map, and I do mean basic, and must destroy two enemy crystals using TNT before taking out the enemy's king. While doing that, players can gather resources in chests that spawn and refill at the middle of the map. These items include potions, fishing rods, bows, golden apples, and snowballs. Whichever king remains, that team will win the game. There's also a team deathmatch variant where whichever team reaches 50 kills first will win, but this video is more applicable to the standard classic version, we'll call it, even though a game that came out a week ago isn't really considered a classic, but it's just more relevant to my arguments here. Just by that description, you may have already realized what I was talking about earlier. This game has a strong resemblance to another vanilla Mineplex game. You might remember it, known as Mineplex Competitive League. These two games share more than a passing resemblance with each other, including both games using a vanilla knockback engine, both games involving protecting of towers or crystals, and also containing an explosive aid, both games starting players with minimal items and focusing them on gathering resources, both games giving players infinite lives. There's no doubt in my mind that the creators took some inspiration from MCL to design this game. Keep in mind that MCL came out just over a year ago when Sam originally created this concept. Another game people have been comparing this to is Castle Siege. Yes, there are too many games that use the name Castle in it, and I agree that it's a tired cliche, but back to the main point. Castle Siege is actually very similar, where in that game, players are also defending a king. Go figure. However, they aren't the same, mainly in that Assault, players are on the same kind of teams, rather than Siege, where one team is always on offense and the other on defense. Despite this game having similarities to those other two, it doesn't feel like a ripoff. It still seems somewhat original. So far, I find myself enjoying the game. The idea of needing to gather items in chests is interesting, because you never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes you might get a gapple, or bow and arrows, or a fire resistance potion, a swiftness potion, etc. Other times, you'll be stuck with snowballs. Or other times you'll just be killed before you get anything. Having a bit of luck in a game is good because it gives players a chance to hone their skills given different circumstances. And that, in my opinion, is a part of the reason why MCL failed. Other than the skill of other players and your teammates, there weren't many variables. Killstreak rewards such as gapples and potions in this game make it easier to stay alive for longer, and you can really get in the groove if you're good enough. It does make things more interesting. Also, unlike MCL, this game actually has different kits, 4 to be exact. We have Demolitionist, archer, fighter, and tank. These are your typical kits with your typical items. I honestly wish the kits had been a bit different for this game, considering there is more freedom to use different items. They chose to still stick with the Mineplex staples of TNT and archery, as well as the same old abilities such as Arrow Fletcher and Bloodlust. They could have had more fun using things like spawn eggs, fence posts to block the crystals, tipped arrows. Oh wait, I forgot Mineplex is too stubborn to update to 1.11. I know this is a vanilla style game, but there's just no reason to not create unique kits for the game with their own identity. Regardless of that, the balance is alright, and that's one counter argument to changing the kits up. My favorite thus far has been Demolitionist, since having TNT is extremely helpful in brawl situations. Don't get me wrong here, there are certainly things I like about this game. There's an actual leaderboard displaying in-game, tiered achievements, and a custom kit leveling system, a currency called crowns that are separate from gems on the rest of the network, all firsts for Mineplex. Each of these choices helps give the game its own unique identity, and put everyone on a more playing field of the game's release, which I do like. But that's pretty much all there is to this game. It's a fairly simple concept, not much more else to it. Final thoughts. Is this better than MCL? For me, yes, because it's just more interesting to play rather than having the same stale match over and over again. Does that make it a good game? Yeah, I would say so. The game presents something different from Mineplex and fills a void for a more vanilla-like PvP that MCL opened up when it was removed. Is this game amazing? No. It's just not original enough, and it doesn't take advantage of what Minecraft has to offer. It could be better, but it is certainly still enjoyable for me to play, and I don't feel like it's a complete waste of time. Mineplex's real test now will be to keep this game updated and fresh, and not dump it like MCL, because like MCL, if they don't update it, it could certainly become stale very quickly. They've already released one patch on it. Keep it up. Don't let me down. Don't let us down. We're asking you, please, if you're gonna make a new game, make it a good one. If I had to recommend this to a type of specific player, I would say people who enjoy brawl PvP scenario games should play it, because in my time of playing, where you get into fights where there's like 5 against 5, it gets really chaotic, but I do find it actually very entertaining, especially when there's no hackers. But taking everything into account, this game gets a solid 7 out of 10. Give us some more interesting kits and items, fix the anti-cheat, give the game its own unique identity, fix the anti-cheat, keep up with the updates. Did I mention fix the anti-cheat? And maybe this time, maybe, I'll be proud of something Mineplex has done. I'm hopeful, but I have doubts on how this game mode could end up. The precedents are just not positive. Let me know how you guys feel about this game down in the comments, as well as check out the poll on the top right of your screen. If you'd like to read up on this game and try it out, links and information will, as always, be down in the description. And hopefully, I'll actually keep up on my promise to make reviews more consistently. You guys should really keep me on that. Follow me on Twitter, bother me something. Just make me do the work that I should be doing. Anyways, this is JoePico14 signing out, and remember everyone, play Minecraft and eat bacon, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.